Hey again, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Matt down here in the catacombs with a few housekeeping notes. First of all, thanks to everyone for all the support of Remnant TV. This is our second season, but obviously we're still learning a lot as we go along here. And there's been a whole lot of support, and we're really grateful for it. I wanted to clear up a couple of points from our last video on the canonization of Pope John Paul coming up on April 27th. A commenter made the observation that it appeared in our last video that we were in favor of continuing to postpone the canonization of the great Pope Pius XII. And I wanted to right away lay that to rest. That is in fact not what we're trying to say. We use the example of Pope Pius XII's canonization, or lack thereof, because it's perfect. It's from recent history, and it is an example of the Vatican politicizing, arguably in the good sense, something that could be problematic for the Church. In other words, because there are some critics, namely at the ADL and elsewhere, who believe that Pope Pius XII did not do enough to protect the Jewish victims of the Holocaust, that this could lead to great scandal for the Church and is insensitive to the victims of the Holocaust and so forth. So right there, in recent history, we have an example of the Vatican putting on the brakes for political reasons with respect to the canonization, and with respect, more importantly, of a candidate for canonization who is certainly deserving to be raised to the altars, namely Pope Pius XII. That's one point. The other clarification has to do with Pope John Paul himself, and that is, the question was raised, does Remnant TV believe that the Vatican is right when they say that John Paul can be separated, his pontificate can be separated from the man John Paul, from his personal holiness? Now, the reason we brought that up is because Cardinal Amato himself made that point before the beatification of John Paul when he said they are not canonizing the pontificate. It is not because of his pontificate that they were proceeding with the beatification, but rather because of his personal holiness. So the Vatican itself drew this distinction between the pontificate, which we all know was problematic on many levels, not the least of which has to do with the cover-up of the clerical sex scandal, disaster and so forth. The Vatican made that point. Fair enough. Whether or not it's going to work with the victims, for example, of the clerical sex abuse scandal, I don't know. That's problematic, but that really isn't the point. The point is the Vatican made that distinction, and so we're making the observation that if it is the personal holiness only that they are beatifying / canonizing, we're really not, as laymen who are not observers, who are not following John Paul's day-to-day routine, we're not in any position to say that he wasn't personally holy. For all we know, he was. Please God, he was. And so if the Vatican is making that point, we're saying, fine, we accept that point, because then that sort of renders this other argument that this canonization is all about canonizing Vatican II, altar girls, communion in the hand, and some of the things that Pope John Paul did and said and approved that were novelties. That can't really stand very, very strong if they're only canonizing the man for his personal holiness. So I think it's important to make those distinctions. It's not a slam dunk. It certainly is not the end of the debate. But I think it gives us impetus to sort of, move forward, continue with the debate. Most importantly, continue to pray that the will of the Holy Ghost will be recognized and followed as this canonization proceeds. This is this is unprecedented, the crisis I'm talking about in the Church. And if we don't have an appreciation for just how unprecedented this crisis is, it's difficult to be able to even discuss things like canonization or whether or not papal infallibility comes into it and so forth without a fairly good working knowledge and understanding of the crisis in the Church. That's the main point. Now, we're going to watch carefully on the 27th of April exactly what the language is with respect to this canonization that Pope Francis uses and so forth, and there's going to be plenty of room for discussion down the line. I would hope that these informal discussions that we're having here in the catacomb over these issues do not come off as pontificating, but rather as constructive discussions about a very sort of difficult time and about issues that are not clear to a lot of people in the Church today. We want to make an announcement, and that has to do with the fact that we are moving onto a Remnant TV platform. That's going to be an exclusive platform for our videos that's going to be available for the moment through remnantnewspaper.com. Bunch of reasons for doing that. We did a video some time ago that had the word pornography in the title, and you see all these videos over here on the side went in a direction that we certainly didn't anticipate. Lots of folks were really upset by that when they were trying to watch our videos with family and with kids, and all of a sudden it was holy hell breaking loose on the side here for video options. So that's an example of the sort of thing that we're trying to avoid. And just in general, we'd like to have it a more Catholic setting for our videos and for all the Remnant TV programs that we offer. In addition to that, there's this problem of the comm boxes, and I don't know what to do about that, but the comm boxes are, especially on YouTube, are filling up with, well, folks that I don't quite understand. They seem to be, quite frankly, hiding their own Easter eggs most of the time. I don't know where they come from. I don't know if they're trolls or if they're serious. I do know this: the Remnant newspaper has been going for almost 50 years, and we've never seen anything like that coming through in our mail, in our office for our print edition. So I don't think that some of the more colorful commenters are actual fans of our work. I think they are trolls. I think they're having fun with us. They're trying to bring us out and spend all of our time just, you know, going back and forth. Now, I've been in this for 25, 30 years, whatever it is. Boy, I'm getting old. And you know, I always use my name, Michael Matt. You want to know what I have to think? All you gotta do is ask. Here, what I say, I will just put it out there with my byline. I'm proud of the efforts that I've made over the years to have some level of journalistic integrity. And after all the time put into that, I don't know that I should have to necessarily, you know, spar in the open forum with something called the Catholic Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think that I'm called to do that. And quite frankly, I've got 7 children and and a business to run, and I just don't have time for the Catholic Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or whoever it might be, you know. And that can take up an awful lot of time. So we're trying to bring that under control. One of the demographics that we're dealing with all the time, of course, are the sedevacantists, who apparently really like to just hang out on our site. I don't know why, but they like to come and utilize our comm boxes to have debates on issues that have absolutely precisely nothing to do with our videos, which is perplexing, again, and makes it a waste of our time and theirs. So we're going to leave the comm boxes open for the moment because I think it's interesting to have discussions, and we want to foster good discussions and debates on issues that matter. We certainly are not against posting disagreeing, you know, dissenting opinions from what we say. We're just Catholic, you know, guys, journalists trying to do our best. We don't think we are a parallel magisterium or infallible or anything else. But when we say something, we throw it out there, and we've thought through it, and we hope it makes sense. And if there are some constructive criticisms of what we're doing, we're all for it, and we will post those. But not so much from the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or anyone else who doesn't seem to know what direction he's heading. So in any way, to sort of foster that, we're gradually moving over to remnantnewspaper.com with our videos, and we ask your patience as we make that move. It's a nice platform. I think you're going to find out that it's a great place to have constructive discussions. But I want to really stress this. Our YouTube fans have been terrific, and we don't want to abandon the YouTube platform altogether because, quite frankly, we're reaching people here on YouTube that, I don't know, probably we wouldn't be quite as apt to reach from a traditional Catholic website. And so we want to keep the YouTube thing going, and it's been going successfully and very well. It's growing, and it's all good. We just are going to be evaluating this comments section. We might be either really beginning to screen them or maybe just shut it off altogether, which a lot of other folks that are doing, you know, internet TV are doing. I hate to do that. I like discussion. I like debate. But lately, it's just been off the charts goofy. Quite frankly, it's just been goofy. So I don't want the reputation of our newspaper or our work to be tainted by some of the folks that weigh in on the comm boxes of YouTube and even of Facebook to some extent, although it's more controlled there. So long story short, please be aware of this. We are making the move. So the numbers on the view counts on YouTube are not exactly reflective of what we are doing, because we're starting to pick up a lot more views at remnantnewspaper.com. And if you like that platform better, move over there, start watching the videos there, tell your friends and family that that's what we're doing. And eventually we hope to be established firmly at remnantnewspaper.com with these videos, and we hope it's going to be a great solution to some of the problems that are incumbent with using the internet as we're doing, such as a public forum such as YouTube. So that's it. Thanks very much, and thanks again. Thank you so much for all the sane comments that do show up here, and for all the great work the great support that we receive for our work. We really appreciate that, and hopefully we'll be able to make this transition as smoothly as possible. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you next week.